Asus.
Despicable Me 4 did great at the box office and we all had a blast watching it. It won't be long before we get the next movie in the franchise. I bet everyone's wondering if and when Illumination will start working on another sequel. As reported by Variety, Chris Renaud, co-director of Despicable Me 4, shared an interesting update on the chance of a fifth movie. In an interview, Renaud mentioned, "If we come up with a good story and it feels like we can cover some fresh territory, then certainly it's possible." Fans of the hugely successful franchise will no doubt be excited about the idea of another movie, especially knowing that the team is focused on delivering a great story above all else. The movie business is definitely driven by money, and some franchises are so popular that executives can't resist the idea of making another one. Despicable Me is definitely in that group, with 5 films ranking in the top 16 animated movies at the all-time worldwide box office, including 2 in the top 10, Minions and Despicable Me 3. Let's be real though, a fifth movie seems pretty much guaranteed, especially since the franchise keeps breaking box office records. Already the highest grossing animated franchise ever, it's now earned over $5.6 billion globally. The latest Despicable Me movie pulled $969.3 million, except for the first Despicable Me, which made $554 million. Every other movie has earned over $900 million, with both Minions and Despicable Me 3 crossing the billion-dollar mark. With over $5.6 billion in the bank and another movie on the way, plus all the excitement around Despicable Me 5, it looks like this franchise is set to stay on top for a while. Its closest competitor, Shrek, has a $1.5 billion gap to close. And even with Shrek 5 coming in 2026, that's a big challenge. Meanwhile, Toy Story sits in third, trailing by over $2 billion, making it almost impossible for Woody and Buzz to catch up. Other franchises in the top 10 include Ice Age, Madagascar, Frozen, and even Doraemon, raking in billions globally over the years. But when you consider how long some of these have been around, it's even more impressive that Despicable Me has completely dominated in just 14 years since the first movie dropped. So it's safe to say Gru and the Minions are here to stay, at least for 2 more movies in the franchise. Gru gets his happy ending in Despicable Me 4, with the family picnic serving as a perfect conclusion to his story. After defeating Maxim Lamal, voiced by Will Ferrell, Gru and his family are able to return to their normal lives and reunite. The film ends on a joyful note, leaving Gru, Lucy, the kids, and the Minions, along with cameos from Dr. Nefario, Gru's mom Marlena, and his brother Drew. It's a heartwarming moment that reflects how far Gru has come. This ending also highlights the growth of the series' characters. In the first film, Gru was a self-absorbed villain with little regard for others. Over the course of the films, we've seen him open up emotionally and build meaningful relationships. Gru has evolved into an adopted father, a devoted husband, and even a true hero. Despicable Me 4 even has him mentoring Poppy Prescott, further emphasizing the series' core themes about how embracing love can help someone become a better person. Despicable Me 4's ending brings back several iconic villains from previous films, adding a fun twist to the storyline. Before the family picnic, Gru visits the Anti-Villain League prison to speak with Maxim. Though their rivalry remains, Gru's half-hearted apology for their past high school conflict leads to a new prison talent show. This not only de-escalates their intense feud, but also sets up a series of cameos from past villains across the franchise. During a dueling duet of Everybody Wants to Rule the World, Gru and Maxim attract the attention of major Despicable Me villains. Surprisingly, none of them seem to hold a grudge against Gru. First, we see Vector from Despicable Me, El Macho from Despicable Me 2, and Balthazar Brat from Despicable Me 3, all in the audience at the prison talent show. As the song progresses, villains from the Minions films, including Scarlet and Herb Overkill, as well as 5 members of the Vicious Six from Minions: The Rise of Gru, step out of their cells to watch the performance. It's a playful way to celebrate the scope of the 13-year-old franchise and tie together previous stories with the new film. Overall, Despicable Me 4 provides a satisfying ending while also opening the door for future possibilities in the franchise. While it wraps up Gru's journey with his family, there are plenty of directions the series could go next. One potential path is exploring the Minions' partnership with the Anti-Villain League, especially with the addition of the superpowered Mega Minions. This could lead to new adventures for the lovable yellow creatures. Poppy's acceptance into Gru's old villain school, Lycée Pabon, also offers a chance to introduce new characters and expand the franchise's world. The idea of all of Gru's former foes being held in the same prison sets up the possibility of a major villain team-up in a future film. Though it might be tricky to bring back all of Gru's enemies due to the star power involved, recasting or focusing on a select few could lead to some exciting rematches. The prison setting itself could also serve as a great backdrop for introducing new, dangerous villains for Gru to face off against in a potential Despicable Me 5. The ending of Despicable Me 4 received mixed reactions from fans, even though the movie itself was a box office success. With a 56% score on Rotten Tomatoes, it became the lowest rated of the franchise. Many fans expressed disappointment with the movie's unfocused plot and lack of coherence. However, despite these criticisms, the film's ending stood out as a highlight for many. The fun musical number, along with cameos from past villains, provided an exciting and nostalgic way to wrap up the adventure. Some fans, like Redditor Arkham is Coming 2020, loved the surprise sing-along to Everybody Wants to Rule the World, sharing their enjoyment of Gru's nod to Kurt Smith from the original music video. This moment was particularly praised, earning a perfect 10/10 from that fan. On the other hand, some fans like Redditor Red Birdhouse felt that the final moments of the film had a more somber tone, almost suggesting the end of the Despicable Me franchise. They said, "Honestly, kind of got vibes at the ending scene that this is the last of these movies. All the characters from all the movies and spin-offs all in one scene singing a song. Despicable Me might not be the best franchise in existence, but I enjoy all of them for their silliness and will be sad if this is the end." While this fan might have felt like Despicable Me 4 could be the end, I definitely think it leaves the door open for more. Steve Carell even told Yahoo UK that he'd be down for another film in the franchise. He has some ideas for the sequel, but he is always happy to leave the final decisions to the creative team. When talking about a possible Despicable Me 5, Steve Carell says, "I'm not sure, that's really up to the writers. They've always done a great job with these characters, so I'm excited to see what they come up with. Whether it's a new character, a new family member, or something that shakes up Gru's family or work life, I trust them to figure it out. Honestly, it could go in so many directions. Personally, I think Gru Jr. might play a big role. That character's hilarious and the dynamic between him and Gru is so funny. I'd love to see where that relationship goes." Illumination hasn't officially announced plans for Despicable Me 5 yet, but with the franchise still doing so well, it seems pretty likely. Plus, there's always the Minions to think about. They've already had 2 movies of their own, and a third one is on the way for sure on June 30, 2027. Well, that's it. What do you think? Are you excited for the possibility of Despicable Me 5? Or do you feel like the franchise has wrapped up nicely with Despicable Me 4? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for all the latest updates on this and more exciting movies coming your way. Catch you next time.